And welcome to Hannity on this busy news night. Tonight, the administration is in a complete panic mode as the president's signature piece of domestic legislation crumbles right before their very eyes. And today, the leader of the free world, he was finally forced to admit what was obvious to so many of us, and that's failure after years of making this promise.
Under the reform we're proposing, if you like your doctor, you can keep your doctor.
The question is, when will those responsible, when are they going to be held accountable? Here to respond from the American Center for Law and Justice, Jay Sekulow. Former Clinton special counsel Lanny Davis is with us. Lanny, you're a man of your word, right?
Sean, you're so bad. B-A-A-A-D. To
Why
put
am I
those
bad?
clips up. Those clips are, whoever did that is
A genius.
Pretty clever. Yeah, I have to give credit. The only problem is you don't make a distinction between being sincerely wrong and lying.
Yeah, okay. Oh, yeah, exactly.
People can be wrong without lying.
Lanny, you Democrats are great at regurgitating talking points. You like your plan, you keep your plan. All right, here's the problem, though.
Right.
We believed it, though.
Listen, so you believe the lie. But now, here's the... well, all right, if you believe the lie...
A lie is when you
you're a man of your
misrepresent.
word. Lanny, you're a man of your word, right?
I think so, yes.
All right, all those people made the promise. Tomorrow, they get a chance to keep their word. Tomorrow in the House of Representatives, they get a chance on the if you like your plan, you can keep your plan act. Would you recommend Democrats who made that promise keep their pledge?
The answer is almost yes, I do.
Almost
We've
yes.
got to fix this.
Only
the reason
Lanny
I'm saying
Davis.
almost...
Almost
No.
yes. Almost no.
I'm not going to say I would vote for something that I haven't read, but I am in favor. Let me give you your point. This is an unusual moment on your program. I think the Democrats have to pull back, reduce the regulations, and make sure nobody loses
Lanny?
their plans, and take another look at this situation because the requirements were too great, and that's why we didn't realize this was
Obama
going to
said
happen.
today...
Yeah, but that's the entire...
Hey, Jay, Obama said
That's
today,
the entire
Jay,
thing has to be rolled. Lanny, what you just said, and you're a man of your word, is the whole thing has to be rolled back. Because remember when Max Baucus said this thing looks like a train wreck? Well, the president announced the train wreck today. It's a disaster. The president cannot keep his word on this, Sean. You know, whether you want to argue they knowingly said it or they were just repeating it, you know what the reality is? 5 million Americans have lost their plans. And does anybody think because the president said now you can let it go for another year that the state insurance commissioners and the insurance companies who are already saying they can't do this are going to be able to just snap their fingers and go back to the way it was? It's not the way it works.
He didn't say through 2014. If you watch them carefully, he said into 2014. So all he's doing is kicking the can down the road until he breaks his promise. Why? Because... and this is why people despise Washington, because all he's doing is he's doing it for the 2014 midterms, not because he believes it. That's the truth, Lanny Davis.
Right.
Can I tell you what the fix really should be? Is the requirements
Keep your word.
that increase the coverage levels is what causes people to lose their policies or get new ones that are more expensive. The idea was excellent, which is that everybody should have coverage for pre-existing conditions and a whole bunch of other essential requirements. What we didn't take into account, and we made mistakes here that have to be corrected, is we imposed these requirements, and now we have to withdraw those requirements to at least allow people to keep their current policies.
pages of legislation. 2,300 pages of law that Nancy Pelosi said we will not know what's in it until we pass it. Well, now we know what's in it. A disaster.
All right,
for the
so
American people.
question,
now we know that this
really suffer.
consequence
This is
has to be
serious.
here's the deal. This was the whole sell on this was based on a number of things. If you like your plan, you can keep it. You like your doctor, you can keep it. Lose your plan, you often lose your doctor. Per family, per year, annual savings, $2,500. That's not true either. It's going to cost $900 billion. That's not true either. So everything the president promised turns out not to be true. Now, based on the fact that this is fundamentally nothing like what he said it would be, why shouldn't the American people have an opportunity to say no to this? Let's put it up for a vote.
Well, that's what the 2014 elections are going to be about. And I think the American people have to experience life like every other Western democracy in the world but the United States, where you know you have access
Lanny,
to
that doesn't
quality
address my
healthcare
question.
Other than in, no,
Lanny,
I'm in favor of this legislation, but we can fix it.
You know,
we do not have to
the
repeal
legislation, though, Lanny, you're not. The legislation is a disaster. We all know that now. But here's the other problem. You know what the president didn't say today? Those penalties that go into effect. if you don't have the plans that qualify for the Affordable Care Act. He didn't say he's abating those. And by the way, who gave him the authority, Sean, to do any of this in the first place? That is the law. It's a disaster. It needs to be repealed, and Ted Cruz was right.
So we don't need to repeal it. We can fix it. One thing the president can do, and I have a client here called ehealth.com. He can use the private sector websites to let people sign up there, while the broken website that was wrongly constructed is being fixed. They're not, because he has no idea that the private sector can help this program.
Lanny, here's the problem long term. Here's the problem. All the president has done is delay the inevitable. He's not keeping his promise. This is not a fix. That is an obscure term. He's obfuscating the issue. But every American, everyone that was about to lose their plan, they're going to lose it within the next year. They're going to lose their doctor. They're going to get the rate shock. And guess what, Lanny? You and your party, you're going to live with your legislation that nobody in America wanted back then or wants today. That's your political problem.
Actually, I still believe that Americans want security and access to quality health care, but we've got to fix the problem of losing these policies and breaking our promise.
Why don't you just admit that
President Clinton said that, and I agree with President Clinton.
We've got to fix the problem. The president created the problem. The president's legislation created the problem. The Democrats that passed this created the problem. This didn't come out of the air. This was legislation that became law that created this problem.
Right,
so the president
one legal
says he
question. Jay Sekulow, I have
great if you're in a football game, but not so much when it's 20% of your economy.
Jay, I have a legal question for you. If anyone in the private sector pulled a bait and switch like this, what would happen?
Could you imagine the shareholder lawsuits?
What would happen?
Let me repeat.
What would happen?
Let me just repeat. What would happen is they would be asked to fix something that they didn't intend to happen.
No, they'd be asked to retire. They'd be fired.
No, they'd be fired.
And the wise words of President Clinton is
or prosecuted
simple.
or
Let
both.
people keep their policies, and we'll fix this going down the road.
In the words of Hillary,
right now, we've got to correct.
If you like your plan, you can keep your plan.
We passed the Affordable Care Act, known as Obamacare.
Exactly. All right, we got to go.
We can fix it.
You can't fix what is unfixable. Coming up next, it's poll panic for the left.